seconds. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and have you. You're going to go ahead and talk with your shoulder partner, okay? You're going to go ahead and share with your shoulder partner what do you think the photograph shows, and if it's low, where do you think it's located, and have you visited a similar place, okay? So you're going to go ahead and share. If it's 3 of you, all 3 of you share. The rest of you, it's your shoulder partner. Ready? Begin.
Okay, guys, you go first. No, ladies first. And you can't say you're not writing anything. If you want.
I think the photograph shows a lake and mountain. I think this is located at. No, I have not visited a similar place.
Okay, 10 seconds.
I think it's the Amazon River.
Why would that be the Amazon?
Shut up.
I've seen that several places. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Los Angeles?
Okay, very good. So let's just see, where do we think that this is going to be located? So what does the photograph show, and where did you think it's located? I'm going to go ahead and call a couple, and then I'll take volunteers. Let me have Kaislyn share. Let's listen. Okay, so she thinks that the location is California, okay? And then what is it that you see? What did you observe? Okay, and different bushes. Okay, very good. Let me have Andrew share.
What I think is that is the Grand Canyon. What I observed the mountains in the background and
Okay, so he hasn't visited a place, but he thought, maybe something that I've seen that is about the Grand Canyon. Julian.
I think this place is located in Arizona.
In Arizona. I think I heard that a few times in Arizona. Okay? Somebody else? I think Joaquin and then Aldo. Joaquin, go ahead.
I think I visited a similar place on the road to Mexico.
Oh, he visited, he said, a similar place on his way on the road to Mexico. And I saw several of you guys kind of share something like that. Aldo.
I think this is showing a river. I think it is located in Mexico. The closest place I've been to Mexico is Mexico, Chihuahua. I think it's Mexico because of the mountains.
Okay, very good. So he says, because I've been to Chihuahua, Mexico, right? He said, this is reminding me of that place when I've been. Okay? Aidan, share, because Aidan had a similar connection, Aldo, to yours.
The photograph shows a river filled with dirty water and with grass and mountains in the background.
Okay.
I think it was located in Mexico. Yes, I have visited a similar place. And I went to the same spot and it looked just like this.
Okay, so he said, I went to a place like this. I remember kind of being at the mountain, and you can see kind of the river flowing below. Carson, last one. Yes, sir.
I think it's located in South America.
Okay, so he had South America, and I noticed a few other different countries that you guys had written. So today we will be looking and understanding. Our text is going to be about a river, okay, and we're going to find out where is the location, okay? So where is this text going to be located? Remember, we always find it. Where is it that we're located during our text? Where am I going to be when I read that text, okay? So today we are going to, this is our goal. So if you look up here, students will determine key ideas and details in each paragraph by annotating every paragraph. You're gonna label the text features in the text, a shrinking river, and we'll be able to explain why the author included the text features. So why did the author include those text features? But I'm going to be looking at the key idea and details, okay? At the end of the class, this is what you are expected to do. D'Angelo, sit up, okay? Students are going to determine key details and ideas by writing 2 short constructed responses to the given questions to check for understanding, okay? So you're going to be writing the responses to what is my key idea, Anthevon, and the details that go with it, okay? So that is what we are doing today. Our text today, yes, Daniel.
I have another place where it could be
Where, Daniel?
in Australia.
Okay, I saw that you guys had said Australia. There were a few different countries, but we're gonna find that out today. So let's look at the map so we can figure out where are we going to be located today. So my title of the text, Joaquin, reads, A Shrinking River. So remember, we always say, why did the author give it that title? So it says, A Shrinking River. That is my title. There's a reason the author gives it that certain title. But if I look at the map, I thought perhaps maybe I was in Australia. Okay? If I look at the map up here, what can I tell now? Carson.
It's in Texas, Mexico, New Mexico, and Colorado.
Okay, very good. So if I look up here, and this is telling me that this river, Joaquin, is going to be located, you see the blue? This is where it runs. This is a river we'll be speaking about today. It begins in Colorado, and then it's going to flow through Colorado, New Mexico. But then look at this. It is the border. It is the border between Texas and Mexico. So a lot of you guys said, I've seen this in Mexico when I go to Mexico, when I go to Chihuahua or Ojinaga, right? This is a river that runs, that's going to separate the 2 countries, and it's the border. Okay? Who knows the name of that river?
The Rio Grande?
D'Angelo?
I know the river.
You don't know, but you've been there, or you've seen
I've
it.
been on the side of it.
You've been on the side of it. Okay, Zoe, what was the name of that river?
The Rio Grande.
The Rio Grande. Okay, so it's the Rio Grande River, so you may have had heard of it. It is the one that is the border between Texas and Mexico. Okay, so that is the Rio Grande. Today, in order for us to understand a little bit about this video, about this river, we're going to be watching a short video that's going to tell us a little bit about the history of the Rio Grande. Okay, so pay attention, because some of the details that they give us within the video, you're going to see that connection within what we're reading today. Okay, so we're going to watch this short clip about the Rio Grande.
Collaboration is key for team success. With ClickUp, you can easily manage your team's tasks and timeline.
Rivers are an important natural resource in Texas. They're not only essential natural habitats for many different species of plants and animals, but they also provide a significant portion of the state with water and irrigation for agriculture. The Rio Grande is the longest Texas river, extending almost 2,000 miles from the mountains of Colorado to where it enters the ocean at the southernmost tip of Texas. Along the way, it provides drinking water for 6 million people and irrigation for 2.1 million acres of land. What makes the Rio Grande different from other rivers in Texas is that, along with being a vital habitat for wildlife and spanning 2 national monuments and Big Bend National Park, it also serves as the international boundary between the United States and Mexico. That means human activities in both countries affect the water quality of the Rio Grande. The Rio Grande provides communities on both sides of the river with water for drinking.
Okay, so if you guys look at this picture really quick, it's going to show us that the the Rio Grande, it divides two countries. So when you go through here, one side is Mexico, the other side is Texas. So if you're going down the river, you're going to split it, and it's going to separate the two, okay? One is going to be the Rio Grande, the other side is Texas. Yes?
Not like a valley.
Kind of like the valley. Good. Very good.
Drinking, farming, livestock, and for recreation. But humans can have negative effects on the river if we aren't careful to protect it. Some of these harmful activities are industrial runoff from factories, surface water runoff from nearby farms, from crops or livestock, urban runoff from
So imagine if you have livestock, farming, different companies, people living here along the edge of the river. What's happening to that river?
It's gonna turn dirty.
It could turn, it's gonna be, what's another word for dirty? It's gonna be what? Polluted, right? But what else? Everybody's using that water as a resource. So imagine the businesses, the people, the animals, the livestock, the plants, okay?
septic tanks and sewage treatment facilities, and rains and flooding that carry trash and debris through storm drains and end up in the river. Fortunately, the United States and Mexico work together to find solutions to these water quality issues. The Rio Grande was first established as the international boundary between the United States and Mexico by a treaty in 1848. In 1944, both countries signed another treaty that established the amount of water each country receives from the lower Rio Grande. It also established projects to improve water quality. In 1983, the La Paz Agreement was signed by both nations and creates a more detailed plan to tackle environmental issues in the border area. One action put into place by the La Paz Agreement is the Border 2025 program. Over the next few years, federal, state, and local environmental agencies in the United States and Mexico will work together on projects to reduce air pollution, improve water quality, and promote sustainable waste management in the border region. One goal is to improve water and wastewater treatment facilities to reduce discharges of polluted water into rivers, including the Rio Grande. By working together, the United States and Mexico have brought positive change to a shared resource, the Rio Grande. It's important for all of us to realize that working together is the first step to finding a solution to environmental problems. We all can keep our rivers clean too. By properly disposing of our waste, limiting the chemicals we put in our yards, and conserving water wherever we can, we are helping protect the beautiful rivers of Texas. Talk to your family about ways you can reduce your waste and conserve water. Talk to your friends about how you can work together to improve the environment. Ask your teacher where you can learn more about water quality. Just like the Rio Grande, there are countless resources that need to be protected. It's up to us to do our part to take care of Texas.
Okay, so in this video, it tells us a little bit about the history of the Rio Grande, okay? So as we read, you guys are gonna see some of the things that you guys saw, and a lot of you guys already started saying, oh, yes, I've been there, that's why, okay? So just knowing that the Rio Grande is gonna be the one that separates the U.S. and Mexico, okay? But also understanding as to what we just saw and what's gonna be in our reading as to why the author titled it A Shrinking River, okay? So I know some of you guys had said that you had already been. So this is us. We went to Big Bend National Park about 5 years ago, okay? And so this is exactly an area between Mexico and Texas, okay? So this is, we got to go through here. So in here, you guys can see we got to go on a canoe to see, go down and float it, right? So right here, it shows where we're in this canoe, right? So the whole time we're thinking like, it's going to be deep, right? So when you see this, you're like, oh my gosh, Miss Gonzalez. So you're doing this, Miss Gonzalez, and what do you notice about Miss Gonzalez and her husband?
Is that you in the front?
That's me. Okay. And my husband, what do you notice?
They don't have a life jacket.
We don't have what?
Life jacket.
Say it again. I don't have a life jacket, guys, and let me tell you, I'm not a great swimmer.
Huh? It's pretty fun.
So why would I not wear a life jacket?
It's like
2 feet deep.
Because it wasn't deep. So when I look here, we're thinking like, oh my gosh, it's so deep. Okay? But guys, it really wasn't deep
You got it.
at all. Okay? It wasn't deep at all. There were places, I don't know if you can kind of see, you can kind of even see here some of the pebbles right underneath. Because the water was so low that we couldn't even flow through it. So there were moments that we were having to stand up and drag the canoe because there wasn't enough water in the river to kind of get us there. Okay? Okay? It wasn't deep enough to
How did you
swim,
know
okay?
you were going?
Do what? Yes.
Where did it go? Did it go?
It wasn't, there were maybe to here, maybe the deepest here.
Miss,
Okay?
how did you know where you were going?
How did we had a guide. So there was a guide that guided us which way to go. So we went several down. But there were pieces right here in this picture. That's probably kind of the deepest part in that area, but it wasn't deep. But if you guys notice the background, and you guys will be studying with this with Mr. Seljavar, if you guys see, at one time, the water levels, look at how high they were at one time. Okay? But now, look at the level, the lines, right? So at one time, there was water. I can see it in the rock. So at one time, the water level was up to here.
If it wasn't,
Okay.
then you guys should have
Or higher, D'Angelo, very good. So this kind of tells you how the water has just the reduced, the amount of water, okay? I don't recall seeing fish. Okay, because I'm telling you, there were parts where it was just rocks. So you're having to walk on those rocks. Okay?
It's because we use so much of the water.
So look at what Daniel just said. Say it again, Daniel.
We use so much of the water that is shrinking.
Okay, so we're using, that could be a cause, right? We're using maybe a lot of the water. And he said, that is why, maybe that's why it's
Miss, that's
shrinking.
why I gave an example of like farms and like animals.
Because it said what the farms, what else were there that uses the
House.
water? The houses, the people,
Ranches.
right? Businesses, ranches, okay, farmers. So everybody's using that water. So sometimes we may be consuming too much water, and so now the river is kind of shrinking because of all the water that's being used by people and animals. Okay? Yes.
So, you know, Jesse was telling us about that thing, how they were trying to dig into the earth. So basically, one of my cousins, he said that there was these people who were trying to dig into the earth because they found the rest of God's water and kill you, and they try to get that water. But they didn't get too deep, and they said that the earth, they burnt, and then that's how it started making hurricanes, tornadoes, and they were now they're trying to cover it up, or they're trying to find a way to get that
So there's different ideas out there, right? Okay? So today in our text, we're going to be reading a nonfiction text, okay? But before we begin, I'm going to briefly go over the vocabulary that we're going to encounter so that as we read, you're kind of familiar with some of the words when we read it in the text, Jaslyn. The first word is conservation, okay? And I underlined it and I put stars. Why did I do that, Ida? Why did I underline it and kind of put little stars, asterisks by it? Why would I do that? Carson?
The word is important.
Because the word is what? Important. But what do you mean by that?
It might be in the question.
Say it again.
Might be in
It's
the
going to
question.
be in the question. Okay? So conservation is going to be one of the key terms, the vocabulary words, Julian, that I have to know. Okay? So we're going to figure that out because we're going to read it in the text and find the definition. Look at the second one. It says an alert. So a lot of times you guys see that my phone goes off, right? And there's an amber alert. So there's different types of alerts, right? It's warning us of something potentially that could be dangerous, right? It's getting your attention. You're alerting. A lot of times my dog is barking. He's alerting me that something is going on. Right? Okay? Burdened. Say that word with me. Burdened. Burdened. Okay? To burden something, it means that it's going to cause a hardship. Okay? There's going to be a burden, Julian. Something that causes a hardship. Embrace. If I embrace something, it means that I am holding it. Okay? A lot of times it's affectionately, or you're just embracing. Okay? You could be hugging. You're embracing. You could embrace an idea, like you like the idea.
You could embrace death.
Okay?
What?
Well, sometimes,
Like if we get very old.
okay, but you appreciate it. Okay? So we're going to go on the next one. What is that next word, Dominic, after embrace? Say it again. Let's look at that word. How do I pronounce that word?
Enchanted.
Look at it closely.
There is no CH.
There is no
Enhances.
CH, right?
Enhances. Visit enhances.
Okay, what is it?
Enhances.
Everybody say it. Enhances. When you enhance something, you're going to intensify. You're going to increase. You're going to enhance what you're doing, okay? A plague, we read about a plague in one of our texts previously, okay? Remember the plague was a bacteria, it's a disease, it's a sickness. To restore means to repair. You're going to make it better, Ellie, okay? A sandbar. I included an image of a sandbar because they're going to mention it in the text. And I want you to be able to picture what a sandbar is, okay? So a sandbar means that you're going to have water coming, but there's sand, a sandbar that stops it. So like right here, a river could be ending, but then here begins the ocean, okay? So a sandbar is going to kind of separate it. Like the water stops. At some point the water stops, okay? Kind of like me, when we went on our trip. It was all this, it really wasn't sand, it was kind of rocks and dirt, but there was, because there was no more water. The water stopped flowing. So we had to get up, get out, pull, right? Okay? Till we encountered more water, okay? And then a drought. What is a drought? Aliani. What is drought? A long period of time with no rain. Look at how I spell the word drought. Okay? So when we get to it, you know how to pronounce it. Drought. Drought. Okay? Ellie? You got it? Okay? Yeah, we pretty much live in an area that is a drought, right? There's not much water nor rain. Okay? Not much rain.
Well, when there is rain,
Okay?
it's a hurricane.
So as we move on, I want you to look up here. Today we're going to be looking at a couple text features. One of them is brand new to 5th grade, Jaslyn. Okay? One of those is brand new to 5th grade. You haven't seen it before. Or maybe by the way that it is titled. Okay? So if you guys look up here, these are the two that we're going to be looking at today. And Ms. Gonzalez just covered the name of it, okay? It is, let me fix that. Okay, today we're going to be looking at definitely a photograph. We've all seen photographs. We use them daily in our do nows or different things that we do. Okay, so the author is going to include a photograph. The author is also going to include, this is new, look at it. It is an inset or a sidebar, okay? So an inset is kind of like a text box where it's going to give you more information, okay? So the author is going to include an inset, okay? It's going to give me more information. Sometimes it could be a definition. Sometimes it could just be more information about a place, okay? But it's going to be separate from the text, and it's going to be in a box, kind of like a text box. Sometimes they may call it a sidebar. So they may say, why did the author include the sidebar? Why did the author include the inset? Okay? So we're going to figure out, and you have to read what is in there in order to be able to determine the purpose or the reason why. Okay? So this is an inset. An inset. Okay? And then a photograph, we're all familiar with the photograph. Okay? As we go on today, we are going to be looking at a shrinking river. While we read today, Aliani, remember what we did yesterday. Yesterday we read a text about Frida Kahlo. Okay? And when we first began, Zoe was the only person that knew who Frida Kahlo was. Okay? Before we began. Okay? At the end, you guys determined the main idea. And so we said that Frida Kahlo was a famous Mexican artist, right? And you guys said that she was best known for her self-portraits. After that, you guys determined several details, key details, the most important details, okay? And so we talked about what details were important, which ones were not important. Remember if I would write, she wore a flowered shirt, was that a key detail? No. Okay, it was kind of supporting, okay? So you guys identified several key details. So today as we read, Carson, we're going to be doing the same. We're going to identify key details and key ideas within the text, okay? Today's read is a little bit longer, okay? But we're going to be reading at, how are we reading at first? Everybody, how are we reading it first? Silently, okay? You're going to read it silently for your understanding. During this time, Ellie and Aldo, we are not marking the text. We are not highlighting the text, not the first read. Okay? We're gonna interact with it several times. The first read, Aldo, we're just reading to understand. If you finish it, you start reading it again if you still have more time. Okay? But at the first read, we are not annotating, we're not underlining yet. Okay? And as you read, think about the text features. Think about why did the author title it A Shrinking River? Okay? Any questions?
No.
Aldo, repeat to me what we're doing first.
Reading it.
How? How are you reading it? Aliani? Reading it silently, okay? First read, we are reading it silently. Okay, the timer is going. Go ahead and begin. Who needs more time? Okay, I'm gonna set it for 2 more minutes, okay? 2 more minutes. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and look up at the front. So we just had a moment to kind of get familiar with our text, okay? So what we're gonna do next, we are going to, okay, on your board, I want you to write the word conservation in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, our word for today is conservation. I want you to write the definition or an image to the word conservation. If you need to find it in the text, find it in the text. Right now, this is a silent solo by yourself. What does the word conservation mean? Conservation. The definition and or an image. Silent solo, Daniel. Conservation is on the last page. You're needing assistance finding it. On your whiteboard, you're writing the definition to conservation. You're writing. Okay, I'm noticing different definitions or thoughts. I want you to highlight the sentence that it is used in. Find it in the text, it's on the last page, and I want you to highlight where they use the word conservation. Miguel, if you will read it to me. Listen and think about your definition. Miguel, go ahead and read it.
The part where it says,
The sentence that it's used in. People.
the people of El Paso have already.
Hold on, start at the very beginning of the sentence.
People in the dry area must reduce how much water they use. Unfortunately, people of El Paso have already embraced water conservation. Hopefully other citizens will follow their example and restore the life and health of the world.
Okay, so pay close attention. I'm gonna give you 30 more seconds to add or make changes. Go. Conservation. Okay, let's go ahead and look up here, class.
Yes, yes.
Class.
Yes,
Okay, I want you to show me your boards. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Show me your board. 100% Aliani, Aldo. Okay, these are some of the keywords that I'm noticing on your boards. I am seeing reduced. I am seeing reduce. I am seeing it means to try to reduce how much you use, to use less. Okay? The word means shortage. Okay? What else? Okay? How am I going to save? Saving water, limited use. Okay? I am seeing some very, very good definitions. Okay? If I look at the image on this next slide, let's look to see. Let's go ahead and stamp it to see if we have it correct. Observation. So the word conservation means reduce the amount of what? Water that we, okay, we're trying to save, okay? How can I restore or conserve the water that I have?
Stop
Okay?
using so much.
So very good, you guys. A lot of you guys at first, you were like, but once I told you, go find it in the text. Then I saw you guys finding keywords in the sentences, okay? I heard a couple of you say, oh, I see the word reduce. I see the word restore, okay? Very good. Very good, yes. So on this next piece, we're going to be writing the main idea together as a whole class, okay? So as we read, we're going to be making annotations. And yesterday I noticed several of you guys did that instantly. Several of you guys wrote quickly a quick idea, a quick main idea of that paragraph. And then some of you guys even drew pictures yesterday, okay? So remember, it's going to be your understanding of the text as we move along, okay? So right now your markers are closed, your whiteboards are to the side, okay? Just leave them there, guys, yes. So right now, the only thing I need at the moment is my text. I need a pencil and my highlighter. Those are the only things I need at this moment. Okay, so if I look up here at the very top of my document, of my passage, we noticed that the title was A Shrinking River. Okay, and I told you that the author is always, Daniel, going to decide a certain title. 100%. Your eyes are up here. Okay. Put it up. Okay. So as we look, why do you think, after you guys read it, why did the author give it that title? Why did he title it A Shrinking River? Daniel. Why did he title it The Shrinking River? Bryson. Okay, so very good. So Bryson said at one time, from what I read, there used to be a lot of fish. There was plentiful of the water, the fish, okay? So he said, that is why. And so what happens to the water? It's what? There's droughts, okay? So why though a shrinking river? Miguel.
Because the more water we use, the water is.
Okay, so the river is going to begin to shrink, okay? So at one time it was wide and now it's less, okay? So right here, next to the title, I'm going to put, why did the author give it this title? Okay? So I want you to write, why did the author give it that title? 30 seconds, you're writing. You're writing. Why did the author give it that title? There's a reason behind it. Dominic, I see nothing on your page.
Usually I spend 2 days on like this. Just because I wanted to be quality versus like quantity of my stuff. And I haven't had a lot of time with the kids.
Okay, so A Shrinking River. Zoe, why did the author give it that title?